Hey everyone, welcome to the final video in the series of putting these twin cam eyebrows onto the guards of my Mark 1 Escort. In the last video we got all the undercoat done and now just getting it ready for the final coat of green and then the clear coat. I've reverted back to the external microphone on this one because I had the camera in its enclosed case for when I did most of this recording, so there's not much audio came through. But here I decided to sand it back wet and dry, basically to stop any dust getting onto the covers so that it didn't blow back onto it when I was painting. Usually wouldn't do it wet, most of the time do it dry these days, but we started off here with some 400 grit just to smooth down the existing paint and then blend that. Basically blend the undercoat back into it, so works fairly well. Keeps a lot of the mess out and there's no dust. I use a microfiber cloth here and keep that damp just to continually keep wiping it so I don't end up with big puddles of water everywhere while I'm doing it. The video here, it goes on for probably about 30 minutes showing the prep, the painting of the green undercoat and then the clear coat. I've had the paint for probably 5 or more years, so it's been sitting around for a while. It's just acrylic, clear over base. Nothing too special. So going along the top edge here, just trying to rough up where the last of the really right up the top there is. It's only going to get clear coat. You'll see a bit later, but I'll put some masking down along that edge there to bring the green. It'll stop pretty much right at the edge of the where the undercoat is there, and I'll continue to once I've painted the green, I'll remask it and move that masking up a little bit higher so that the clear goes a little bit above and onto the old clear. There's quite a defined edge there where the body, where the panel is actually, it's pressed. There's a ridge along it. So at the end of the day, I haven't even buffed it back yet, so can't really see much of a line there at all, especially when it's on the tracks. So I switched up here to the 500 grit sandpaper. I've already done the whole guard in 400 and it was starting to get fairly smooth, so there's a few little lumps here and there. The old rattle can undercoat wasn't the best, but I had it there and I just wanted to use it to get it out of the way. Ended up getting a fairly good couple of coats of the 1K stuff that I normally use elsewhere through the spray gun as well over the top of the rattle can. So once I was happy with the way that all felt, just gave it a quick clean off here and then moved on to the masking. I want to run some false edge masking down along there so that I don't get a hard edge on the paint. And basically what false edge is you're just folding one edge of the tape onto itself, so that the sticky part's only on, say, approximately half of the width of the tape, and then you put that folded edge down towards where you want to paint. What that lets it do, and you probably can't see it in the videos, but I've seen it in real life, is that when you're spraying it, the air actually lifts up that edge, and you'll probably get a little bit of paint wafting underneath it. The most important thing is that it doesn't leave a hard edge. If you've just got a flat piece of tape and paint up to it and then take the tape off, you'll have a solid edge where the paint's built up on the edge of the tape, and you don't really want that. So here I just stuffed up and didn't make it long enough, so you just got another bit and just put it over the top there, so there's no problem with doing that. And what I've done with this edge is it's down a little bit from where I want to finish the clear, so, and it's up above any of that undercoat, because you don't want any of the undercoat not getting the green paint over it. So I did that on both sides, and then got ready to paint it. So there's the tin of the old paint that I got a few years ago when I first painted the car, and a tin of clear. So it still sloshes around, so it should still be okay. The normal ratio of this is 100% paint to 150% thinners, but I'm just using the small R150 minigun, and it's only got a 1.2mm tip in it, so I might throw a bit more thinner than what I'm supposed to. Hopefully it'll come out a little bit flatter. Well, I find that I'll quite often keep paint for a long time. In this case here, because it's on the race car, I'm going to keep some around, keep it as a spare in case I ever have to touch it up. And the best way that I've found to be able to keep paint is to have the lids as clean as possible when you put the lid back on. As you can see, the top of that paint in there is pretty clean. And what I'll generally do to try and achieve that, sometimes it doesn't work, is just get a wide piece of tape like this and put it over the edge of the tin and wrap it around. That way the point that you're pouring isn't seeing all the paint, hopefully. Sometimes it gets underneath, but usually it's enough to keep it clean. And the better seal that you can get, the longer the paint's going to stay good for. And this is acrylic, so there's no hardener or anything to add to it. And just give sometimes you can just take the tape straight off, other times if it's dribbled a bit, give it a bit of a wipe first, take the tape off, and then you've got a clean lid to put the lid back on and to seal up properly. Well, that's the theory anyway. And it's worked with this paint, so. So I'm with the green base coat now. I'm just using the A&I R150 minigun. I'm pretty sure the settings was probably about 2 bar on it. It's only got a 1.2mm tip, so I think I thinned the paint down a little bit more than what the ratio is meant to be, because it's acrylic. It's supposed to be 1 part paint to 1.5 parts thinner, but I think I threw a bit more thinner into it until I was happy with the consistency. I ended up doing 3 or 4 coats of this. I don't think I showed them all here, but it doesn't cover too bad. But I had the paint, it was in the gun, and did the first passes over the undercoat areas here, and then went back and just pretty much did the whole guard. So as before with the green base coat, I want to put a false edge masking along the top of that garden line. And to do that, you just get the front edge of the tape, roll it over onto itself, and then just pull it across your leg like that, and it sort of keeps folding it. the amount of angle that you've got on your left hand as you're actually holding the tape sort of determines how far it doubles up on itself. And you still want to have an edge there, obviously, that you stick down, but there's a roll edge at the edge of the tape that's folded over that you put down towards where the paint's got to go. And you might just be able to see it there, but I'm placing it just above where I've painted the green base coat, because I want the clear to go up and onto the old clear coat that's there. And eventually, one day, if I ever get around to it, I'll be able to buff it off, and it'll come back to that line in the guard there, and you won't be able to notice it. It's fairly unnoticeable as it is at the moment, so may or may not get around to cleaning it up one day. I've got nothing better to do one day, I might. So now we're onto the clear, and as you can see there, I didn't even bother cleaning out the gun, just did the remaining base coat and straight onto the clear. Won't matter if there's a few flakes of green floating about in the clear coat. So being acrylic, I gave it 3 coats. If we ever have to rub it back and smooth it off, there'll be enough on there to do that. I'm not planning on doing that at this point in time, but there's enough there to do it. So once again, gun settings are still the same. Probably about 2 bar on it, and just try and get it on as well as I can. The reason for the hole through the wall there is that the switch for the fans on the outside of the booth, just to keep all the switches and all the lights that you see up there. I've got glass covers on them, so all the lights and power's actually outside the booth, just to keep it a little bit safer. Well everyone, that's about it for this set of videos. Hope you've enjoyed it. I haven't got any more plans for any body work on this car in the near future. I've got a few mechanical upgrades in the line just to try and bring back its performance after putting the larger wheels on it. It's lost a bit of its acceleration, so we'll see what we can do to fix that. Anyway, catch us in the next one. See you later.